It's Matt from Music Producer School. Thank you for joining. Hope everybody had a great holiday. I've been on the holiday myself over here. We're back in the home studio. Looks like we'll be here for a little while. Um, Happy New Year to everybody. And we're going to continue our series here of Let's Make a Song. And today we are on part 14. I took a holiday vacation for the past 2 weeks, so I have not even listened to this thing in a couple of weeks. So let's dive in and see where we are, and we'll just keep moving forward. All right, let me get this up here. Let's make me, that should be fine. All right, so let's take a listen and see where we are with this thing.
One more day, feels like you threw my heart away. One more chance, you let a good love slip through your hands. Stand inside when the tears start coming, falling down like rain. It's like a sickness, you broke me with a quickness, a brand new kind of pain. And all I can do is dance. All I can do is dance. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, it looks like I had both of these. Okay, so I'm getting my bearings back on what we were doing for the last session. So basically what we were doing was I was taking this lead vocal, which again, if you missed any of this, go to the Facebook page or the YouTube page. The link is in the comments and you can see all the previous videos of how we got here. I basically started this song completely from scratch, from the writing of it and the whole deal. So I encourage you to go check it out if you have not seen any of the previous episodes. But if you have, the last one we did was we took our lead vocal comp and it was all nice and tuned and everything. And I actually froze it here. And before we start messing with anything, as always, let's go and do a file save as, and this is 14. All I can do is dance 14.1. So what I did was I froze this stuff into this track here. So these are both the same, right? So this is another trick. Once you get your nice, neat, tuned, edited vocal for the lead, you can bounce it to a track like this. I don't really need this track anymore because I like to leave my vocals kind of raw like this. So that way, if I have to go back and adjust anything later, I can always, do what I got to do. So let's go ahead. We'll get rid of that track. And what I did was, you can see I have these vocal chops tracks here. And what I'm going to do is turn these off. Now, this one down here, I believe, was more of like a rhythmic thing. And what I did there was I just put a little bit of this altar boy to get that formant down, kind of give it that house vocal magic. And then here I use a redux to bring the bits down a little bit and to downsample it, so it gave it kind of a little more of a old school, vintagey, broken kind of thing. And then what I also want to do here is I want to bring these transients down because I want to get this nice and just short and quick. Now, I feel like I'm hearing some reverb, and that is because I like this. I like this this kind of thing to put in the background. So what this is actually going to be, I'm gonna call this vocal chops 2, but I'm gonna actually color this yellow, and I'm gonna put it up there. I'm gonna put it into my drum bus, which I don't know. Yeah, I think we started a drum group here. So I'm going to put this in the drum group. And what was happening there is all those vocal chops are going out to that lead vocal bus. So I want to send these to the drum group now. And now that I've done that, I don't have that vocal reverb going on. Yeah, that's better. So let's listen to what that sounds like with the rest of the drums now. We may have to bump them up a little bit and see what's what. All right, cool. It doesn't seem like anything crazy, but if you really listen closely to a lot of your favorite producers' songs, and especially in this genre, you're going to start, if you really listen, you're going to start hearing some things in there that you may have never noticed before. In other words, a lot of times when I was producing in the beginning, I would make a track and it would just be boring because I would just be doing, the kick, snare, chord, bass. There's none of these little extra kind of things that are not just right on the grid, stock sound stuff. Like this, what I'm doing here, you can't find this in a sample pack. You know what I mean? You can use different elements like this, but you're not going to get this particular sound because I made it from the lead vocal. So if you missed how I did this, I encourage you to go back to the previous lesson because I showed you how I took my own lead vocal and now I'm turning it into this rhythmic element, which I'll say one more time, I've said it before. I used to wonder, I was like, how are these producers getting all these sounds, all these little rhythmic sounds, all these drums, all this stuff? Why does it all sound like it goes together so well? When every time I go pick random samples from packs, they just don't sound good together. And the trick I learned over the years was that the best producers are basically starting off. I mean, of course, everybody grabs samples from their folders and throws stuff in and whatever. I'm going to do that as well. But to give it that extra special little something that tells the listener like, oh, this is all completely original, this is fresh. You have to learn how to make parts up from your own stuff, So I just took this simple vocal here. I put it into these simplers in Ableton. And again, there's different ways to do this if you're not in Ableton, but this is just the way I'm doing it for this particular track. And I did these chops. So now I'm gonna treat these vocal chops like a drum thing. And let's see if we can also maybe let's go ahead and put a little compression on these, because what I can do is kind of tame. Let's use the glue for this one. I can tame some of these and I'll have a little more of a volume adjustment as well, which will be nice. So let's go ahead and put some compression on these. Now this sounded a little cool right here. Yeah, I like all that stuff. So now what I want to do is let's do an auto pan. And in that way we can get this thing really moving kind of side to side, because again, the lead vocal will always be in the center, right? So let's see if we can move this around a little bit. And what I'm doing with that shape there is I'm making sure that it's not really going through the middle as much when it pans from right to left. It's more of just a hard left or right type of thing. Okay, so I just got another idea for this. Let's see if we were put an auto tune on this. And let's see if we could get this thing to hard tune. I believe the key of our song was A minor. Check that real quick down here. on my trusty Casio keyboard. So we are in A minor or C major. So if we were to just say C major, and let's see if we can get these notes to kind of be a little more melodic with this drum part. So what we're going to do here is we're going to remove all of these notes except for the C, and let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so C major and A minor are the same thing, right? We've gone through that in some of the previous lessons. However, since we're in A minor, and this is a minor, meaning the first chord of the song is starting in a minor, let's choose to use the A instead here. So what I'm doing again here is I'm basically just saying, hey, auto-tune, only tune to the note of A. All right, that's making me happy. I gotta say, that worked out pretty well. So I'll stop here to say that's another little trick that you can always do if you get stuck with a sound. First thing you can do, especially when you're dealing with sample-based production like this, meaning you're not gonna just go sit at the piano and play or keyboard or guitar or whatever. So what you can do when you're trying to get these samples to fit and make everything, again, sound cohesive like they belong together, I like this part because, again, like I said, I made it custom from my vocal, so it's all good. However, it's just not quite sitting right. And a big key that you can do, or a big tip that you can do, rather, is to change the key of your sample into the key of your song. So, again, I know the first chord of this song is A minor. I just told Auto-Tune, hey, tune all of these notes only to the note of A. And I removed all of these other notes that it could possibly tune to. So if you listen, I bumped it up a little bit, but it gives us that nice in key of A. So I hope that's making sense for all of y'all. And then let's check out this this rack right here. Yeah, these are looking pretty good. So yeah, I'm liking that. So let's listen to our drop one more time now. And let's go ahead. It's time to start moving the regular vocal. I'll tell you what, before we do that, let's check out these other vocal chops real quick and see what I had going on. I had this one down here that I printed. Yeah, rockin', yeah, yeah, do it, yeah, rock, yeah, yeah, do it, yeah, do it, yeah, and do it. Okay, so what I'm thinking is we could maybe use this chop stuff in the second part of the drop, because you always want to try and switch up the drop. So the first drop is going to be just the regular, all I can do is. So let's see what this second part of the drop sounds like if I put these chops in, and maybe we'll, on the next lesson, I'll work on these chops a little bit more and we'll get those to be a good B section. So I'm not really feeling that at the moment, but I think that that will probably work, because then what I can do is I can now put in this drop B. We can repeat the chorus again, and then we'll do another kind of, second section of that. So let's take a listen at some of these other ones that I did. Let's try this one. See what that sounds like, if it gives us any inspiration here.
All I can do is dance. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we got this yeah, yeah coming in at the end right here, and it's kind of leading into the first bar of the next section.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what we would probably have to wind up doing is maybe moving. Now these all look pretty much the same. This is the same, actually, it's just looped. So I'm going to get rid of all this extra stuff, because I believe we were using our randomizer over here. So I'm not really losing anything. So let's take this section, and we'll start on the beat number 2, coming right after this. So what I'm listening for, I'm not really feeling this particular part at the moment, but what I'm listening for is, where do we fit it in the section? Because once we get the placement right, now I can know. Because in other words, I don't want to just sit in solo and come up with this cool part, and then I'm going to try and put it in here and be like, oh, well, we can't do it here because the vocal's kind of overlapping. So try and just think about that before you start working on parts. Like, let me get the part where it needs to be first. And this is kind of arrangement type stuff. But let's see what this sounds like.
All I can do is dance. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm getting a little inspiration from hearing that. Now we have our randomizer on here. Let's see what happens when we just turn that off. I think we're gonna need to keep it on though. Now that was cool. I didn't expect to do that. Okay, so let's try something here. Let's first of all, let's duplicate this. Whenever you get inspired by something, go ahead and be sure to duplicate, because you'll wind up screwing something up, I promise you. So I didn't plan on that happening, but this was, again, another little happy accident, I think. So I kind of like this. I kind of like this as a hi-hat almost. So that's kind of cool. Let's see what that sounds like with the track. So I'm listening to this guy down here, and let's see if we were to just pull it out like that, and then let's just do that. So we got this one bar, this one beat gap right here to allow for our overlap in the vocal, and then we're gonna kind of get this little hi-hat thing going on. Let's see what that sounds like.
All I can do is dance. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put this and send it into, I'm gonna put this into my drum. So I'm gonna call this vocal hats, and I'm gonna actually put this again into my drum bus. And again, if some of you are wondering, you're like, damn, what's this dude putting all these vocals in the drum bus for? Well, the thing is, like I was saying earlier on in my production career, I would come up with these beats and they were decent, they were cool, but I would not ever get to that level of like, man, I hear some of these good producers, like their tracks just move in a certain way, like they just feel good. And over a very long time, I realized, oh crap, it's the percussion. The percussion is typically, often, especially with the drums anyway, percussion, hats, stuff like that are going to give you the groove of your part. And when that dawned on me, I was like, oh, that's how it feels the way it feels. So percussion is super important. And me personally, like I said, I don't like just always throwing random percussion samples in there. I like to try to recycle some of my own parts and see how that sounds. So now we have the vocal hats in here. Let's send them to the drum bus. And let's see what this sounds like with our vocal chops we just did. All right, let's see what that sounds like with the drums. So also what I'm noticing here is I'm kind of liking this, just from listening to, from doing this, I'm kind of liking this idea of the first beat of the bar is going to be basically a kick drum. And then our kick and obviously will be in there. Let's see what this has got going on. So let's maybe even think about, let's unfreeze this, and let's see if maybe we could put this on our snare beat. So it's gonna be boom. So it's basically like we're kind of doing this. So on the first bar, I want to do everybody right there, just the vocal. And then I'm also thinking about getting rid of this first part of the bass here. All right, that's pretty cool. And then I don't think we're gonna do anything with the keys, but yeah, let's try and mute the keys as well. I'm gonna do me a little safety save, so that way I don't lose anything. So let's see what this sounds. So the idea is, again, it kind of makes sense with the vocal as well, saying all I can do is dance. So it's kind of like this single person, you know, by themselves, all they can do is dance. So this first beat of the bar, I think, would be cool to have just the vocal there. Yeah, let's listen to that in context now, because that was kind of cool. All I can do is dance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, cool. So now that was going off on a little tangent from that idea from down here with our vocal chops. So this was the first one we got the hats from. So that was the original with the randomizer turned off. So let's try this again with the randomizer back on. So what I'm going to do on the next lesson, I'm going to throw in one quick reminder here. Let's get this out of solo. All I can do is, all I can do is, all I can do is dance. So I'm thinking about taking my clap here. Let's do another clap. And I kind of want just like that 808 sharp clap. Something like that. And then in this build here, we're just going to do a little 4 on the floor, but with the hats now. Just to kind of build it up. and get a little movement going here. And I wanted to put that in real quick before I forgot. So we're going to call this build clap. And let's see what this is.
Brand new kind of pain, and all I can do is dance.
Yeah, I don't think I'm feeling that. That's a little too like big room. I want to keep it a little more deep vibes. So, okay, we're going to close it out right here. What I'm going to do next lesson is we kind of got some good stuff going on here. I feel like the drums are probably pretty close to being done. We still have to do mixing and whatnot, but as far as the parts, that's really what I was trying to get accomplished with those guys. We may throw maybe an open hat type thing in there at the end of the song. The drop here, I think, with the vocal is what we need to figure out with the ending here, how we're going to do this vocal chop. So I'm kind of liking this feel of all I can do is dance, and then I'm going to come up here in the second section, and we're going to do this vocal chop, and then we'll go back to all I can do is dance, and then we'll go back to vocal chop and finish it out. So let's listen one more time.
All I can do is
And then let me also try and get rid of these every 4 bars. I'm getting rid of the downbeats on some parts here, like the bass, for example. Now, did I just cut? Okay, I'll make sure I didn't cut too much of that guy. Get rid of him. And then drop B should be about the same every 4 bars. I'm just cutting the first note here because I wanted that to kind of be like a theme almost, like everybody stops on the first bar. On that first beat of the first bar every 4 bars. And then the same thing here. Every 4 bars.
all I can do is dance.
Let's see, we'll move this one more on the beat. Okay, so I think I figured out what we're going to do is on the sections where the lead vocal is just doing the regular, all I can do is we're going to do this right on the second beat with this And then when we go into the next section, I'm going to switch it up where it's going to be on the upbeat right here. Same deal here on the upbeat. On the upbeat, kind of clean these up a little bit so it'll be easier for me to tell what's going on. Rid of that. Yeah, it's fine for now. So we're going to do section on the 2, upbeat, upbeat. And then we're going to, again, do on the 2 with the snare, on the 2 with the snare. And then we're going to do upbeat. And upbeat. Like that. Make sure I got this one right. Yep. All right, and that should be it for that. So next lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to handle up this vocal chop thing where we're going to figure out what needs to go right here. So we got to fill in at least our lead vocal here and here. We got some more drum stuff, and I think the drums are pretty much going to be finished up at this point. I'll copy this section over like this. And let's make sure we dropped out, our bass. And then I know we also did that with the keys. So the keys we'll do as well before I forget. Every 4 bars, we're going to mute. And I may change this up a little bit as we kind of continue listening in context with the song. But I do like the idea of changing it up like that a little bit. Just, again, it seems like just these very little things. But they really do add up to be super important with this stuff. So let's listen to this last section now. All right, cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will see y'all on Thursday, and we'll get back into it, finish this thing up. I think we got probably maybe like 4, maybe 5 more sessions to go on this, and it'll be done. So we'll probably get it in about 20 total sessions. Which again, as I've explained, I'm only working on these 30 minutes at a time, just for the benefit of you guys and girls. I know you don't want to sit here watching somebody produce for more than about 20, 30 minutes at a time, but hopefully you picked up some little nuggets of information on this one. And as always, be sure to join the Music Producer School community. Be sure to follow us on all the other links. The links are in the comments right there. So y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all again on Thursday. And we are going to finish this song.